7 individuals from around the globe joined forces in Gaza to combat hunger and suffering. Zomi Frankcom, a Melbourne-based aid worker, and WCK's relief lead in Gaza, a woman of courage and compassion. Last month, WCK posted a video on X of Ms. Frankcom at their kitchen in Deir al-Balah, central Gaza, which was newly opened. Damian Sobol, a man of grit from the heart of Poland, who chose to leave the comfort of his home to serve those in need. Polish President Andrzej Duda said, "These brave people changed the world for the better with their service and dedication to others. This tragedy should never have happened and must be explained." Palestine's own son, Issam Abutaha, stood shoulder to shoulder with them, his heart beating for his people. Hundreds of people mourned Saifeddin Issam Ayad Abutaha, whose body was transported to Rafah, his hometown, where relatives, colleagues and friends carried him on their shoulders. Jacob Flickinger, the dual US-Canadian, served 11 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. He had been a volunteer in Gaza since early March. His parents said he had recently settled in Costa Rica with his wife and their 18-month-old son. And from the United Kingdom, 3 former soldiers who were working for UK-based security firm Solace Global as part of WCK's security team. John Chapman, his family described him as an incredible father, husband, son and brother who will forever be a hero. Chris Burns, who served with Mr. Chapman in the military, remembers him as a very, very bubbly James Kirby. Mr. Kirby was born in Bristol. His family said he would be remembered as a hero who will never know the void he has left. His cousin Amy Roxburgh Barry described him as a true friend who loved his mates, he loved his family. James Henderson, he had been in Gaza for just over a week alongside with Mr. Chapman and Mr. Kirby. The three's roles as security advisors were to ensure the aid convoy traveling in Gaza followed safety procedures and remained on the correct route. Matthew Harding, the non-executive director of the security company that employed them, said all 3 had extensive experience in risk management and were all highly trained, highly professional. Their stories were cut short on a fateful day when an Israeli airstrike claimed their lives. Despite coordinating movements with the Israeli Defense Forces, they fell victims to a force beyond their control. Their loss sent shockwaves across the globe, prompting outrage and calls for investigations from the White House and UK officials. They risked their lives in a place where starvation looms large and where half of the population faces the threat of famine. More than 196 aid workers have been killed in Gaza since October, according to the US-funded Aid Worker Security Database, which records major incidents of violence against aid personnel. Most of those killed since the war broke out 6 months ago worked for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, which runs the biggest aid operation in Gaza.